Hi everyone, good morning. Happy Friday. I hope all is well. Um, Guys, for today we'll see a little bit about the Sophos updates, what's new with Sophos endpoint protection, firewalls, DNS, that is a new feature that we have in firewalls, Wi-Fi 6. Okay, so thanks for joining us to this new session about the Sophos updates. Please remember that you have available the chat. So if you have any question, please let me know. I will try to be as clear as possible. Okay. So we're gonna start. Okay. The agenda for today, as I mentioned you, new features in Sophos endpoint protection security. We have different new features that will help you to protect your customers and your environments. So it's important that you can understand how these features will work. Okay. What's new in Sophos XDR uh, in regards of the threat hunting? Sophos firewall version 12. Okay. Sorry, 20. Um, Plus the Sophos DNS protection. Um, what is new in this feature? What is Wi-Fi 6? In the APs, the access points, we already have Wi-Fi 6, so it's important to keep in mind. Okay, and the last one, questions and answers. Okay, but if do you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, so to start, the Sophos endpoint security. Here's Sophos. What's new? Oh, sorry. So sorry. Let me share my screen again. Sorry. Okay. So as you know, the Sophos endpoint, it's an endpoint security that works for and with you and adapts your defense in response to an attack. So there are multiple layers of defense. So let me show you. It starts here by reducing your threat exposure and reducing the opportunities for the attackers to penetrate your environment. So the best threat investigation, it's one you never need to carry out. And why? Why? This is because it was dealt with before it became a problem. So it starts with blocking malicious content and web-based threats, control access to applications, um, to websites and peripheral devices. And since security postures can drift over time, Sophos it's constantly evaluating if you have an optimal configurations so you can ensure you have the best protection. Okay, not all the attacks starts with malicious codes. For example, um, compromised or easy to guess passwords are a dream for an attacker, So as they allow entering your environment as authenticated users, Sophos looks for malicious code and behaviors and techniques to indicate malicious activity. No matter how threat gets into your organizations, it must result in activity at some point to carry out the attack. So the endpoint has multiple technologies to identify and block this activity in real time with the AI first protections that will detect both the known and zero-day malware. So our anti-exploitation technology and the behavioral engine look for the behaviors, of malicious applications and obviously stop them in their tracks without requiring configurations or hindering everyday computing tasks. An example of this, it's our behavioral anti-ransomware protection that, as you know, works alone. Okay, it's available is for default when you install the Sophos agent. Okay, so as strongly as Sophos believes in a start with protections, we also recognize how important it's to provide automated response that adapts to the context of the attack. So this adaptation and context are two key concepts. Okay, so if the endpoint detects a hands-on keyboard attacker, it dynamically scales up additional defense with shifts up, okay, approach. It includes blocking activities that aren't inherently, okay, so in an everyday context, but are dangerous in the context of the attacks. Here, the extra protections are dynamically scaled back to the normal when the attacker is ejected. So automated protection, it's critical, okay, to achieving a strong security posture. However, the best attackers are persistent and will continue to prove for weaknesses in your defense. So the Sophos endpoint detects, prioritizes, and correlates suspicious activity. So you, or for example, your MDR team know where to focus attentions. So it's provide a rich set of cloud and on endpoint data coupled with flexible query engine, um, contextual pivots, thread graphs, for example, and other tools to facilitate investigations and threat hunts. And it offers response tools that contain threats while you investigate and allow you to remediate threats so your users can get back to work. Okay, so we're gonna focus here in reduced threat exposure. Okay, as I mentioned you, we start by blocking malicious content and web-based threats, controlling access to applications, to different profile devices, and more. Okay, websites and more. Okay, so the threat arriving from the web, remaining key attack vector. But now, more than ever, it's hard for users to identify these malicious websites or email links. So many red flags, as we mentioned, as we said, such as using like an HTTP instead of HTTPS, um, dubious domains, email typos, or grammar, for example, are no longer easy to stop, not for all the people. Okay, so for example, here it's an email created by ChatGPT that all know about uh, ChatGPT. The grammar, it's good. Okay, as you can see here, the grammar, it's okay. It looks pretty legitimate and user can believe it was a real message. Another example is this mini map of the public Microsoft domains. Okay, these are legitimate domains that users or machine cloud communicate, with during a daily work. It's it is hard to for users to know whether they are on a legitimate site. It's pretty difficult, given that it is increasingly hard to expect users to spot malicious behavior. So Sophos web protections provide a bit of layer of defense. So we have a global team of threat search constantly enhancing our web protections to reflect the latest attacks, and they are baked by deep learning technology. So the web protection has been a strong pillar of our protection for years. Okay, so it's still what has helped to propel it recently. It's our ability to leverage intelligence from other Sophos data points. For example, here, intelligence from the Sophos MDR team that ensures the latest in the wild threats and associated site domains are blocked for many others Sophos customer products. All in all, so all is in web protection. That is a key component of our endpoint protection. Okay, in regards of the controls, Sophos endpoint, as you know, has several features that can increase your endpoint security posture. In your organizations has critical security requirements. So these controls allows you to restrict the capabilities of an endpoint. Or you may want to restrict, certain activities. The web control allows you to monitor and block categories of websites and web track. So your company policy may not allow access to gambling, for example, websites or social media during an office hours. The enforcement occurs both on and off the office network. So you can control which peripherals users are allowed to attach to their devices. You can or can a user attach a printer, or what about the USB storage devices? What about this mobile phone charging from the USB port? You can specify whether devices are allowed, blocked, or attached in read only mode. Sorry. Using Tor browser or a torrent application, it's a user's personal decision at home. However, um, do you want a user to be able to run these applications or their work device? The application controls will allow you to block specified applications or browsers blocks ins from running on a work device. And the last, the data control. Here, the data loss protections will enable you to monitor and restrict the transfer of sensitive files. For example, you can prevent a user from transferring a file scanning credit card numbers to their home computers using the website or the web-based email. You can warn the users and ask them to confirm the transfer or simply block it from occurring. Okay, so you know that we already have this um, these controls in the endpoint protection. This is not new, but it's important to understand it. Okay, in regards of the account health check. Okay, this is a new option in the Sophos Central. Here, our account health check tool constantly checks customers' policies, settings, and exclusions, and flags anything that could reduce their security posture. This is available to all customers managing their Sophos endpoint and server security through the Sophos Central platform. So it performs a number of key checks. For example, what are these checks? The software assignments. Here the devices, um, here you can see the devices that have all the right software assigned to them. The threat policy are the policies using a recommended settings. Okay, you can see this option in the Sophos Central. The exclusions are the exclusions creating significant exposure, or the tamper protection. Has the tamper protection been disabled? All of this you can see it in the account health check that is like this. Okay, let me show you here. It's like this. You can see here how is your protection. Okay, this feature has proved hugely popular, and we are continuing to deploy it and exchange it. So it enable the customers running Sophos endpoint and server protection to quickly identify configuration that requires attention and track and report on efforts to improve their security configurations. It includes both an overall score of the customer environments as well as individual scores for each separate checks. Okay, as you can see in the screen. So this account has an overall health score of uh, 74, which is the result of a protection score of 45, a policies score of 99, tamper protection score of 45, and exclusion score of 88. Okay, as with other elements of Sophos account health checked, the scores are an useful tool in overall cybersecurity posture management and should be used alongside bordered assessments of your wider environment and security technology stack to provide a complete picture of your cyber health. Okay, just remember, do you have this option in the Sophos Central? In the Sophos Central, when you're getting into, you can now see all the options ups. Okay, so there are an option of uh, account health check. Okay, so we're gonna continue. Let me see. Perfect. So we're gonna continue with block malicious activity. Okay, here we have multiple AI models in our products, and our usage of AI has been steadily increasing over the years. So here our AI first protection start with the AI classifications of excludables. So it is a model trained on hundreds of millions of good and bad Windows portable executable binaries. So the benefit is quickly and efficiently identifying malicious executables based on their properties without needing signatures. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Okay. So we keep the users safe while browsing the web with the URL and the HTML categorization models. So in addition, the endpoint can also ask the Sophos Labs Intelix for a veridic or URL enabling near instantaneous protections against the latest threats. Here with XDR, we use AI as part of determining risk scores for each detection, helping security analysis focus their values or valuable time. As a part of the roadmap, the product team is looking to use AI to decrease investigation time by suggesting possible next steps based on the data and the past activities of or other threat hunters, including here the Sophos MDR team. Okay, this is part of the roadmap. About the behavioral engine. The behavioral engine is a powerful layer, of protection offered by Sophos and accounts for many instances of blocking malicious activities. So here we have the ability to instead a running process as it executes like a memory scanning. This is a critical element of the behavioral-based protection for Sophos endpoint. The attacker or the attackers encrypt or pack their malicious code to evade detection by static scannings when their malicious exit file is written to disk. So the core malware code is encrypted and revealed only in memory when the process executes. Some attacks also use processes injection techniques to implant their malicious code in the memory of and already running processes to evade detections by dynamic scanning. So the core malware code runs in parallel within and other side legitimate processes. The memory scanning protections for Sophos endpoint was built to address these scenarios and efficiently inspect the actual code of our running processes. Okay? In some situations, a proactive detections that blocks and prevents malicious activities can um, lift upstream artifacts of the infections behind. So these leftover artifacts can lead to multiple problems such as repeat detections when the infection has persistence and exposure to reinfection if the threat can self-updates. So the behavior engine already process persistence events such as process events, file events, and registry events, which provide the content and the visibility needed to make behavior rules that block malicious activities. So the behavior engine also process blocking protection events. Using the same combination of signals, the cleanup rules can relate additional artifacts following a blocking protection event and um, improve remediations. So, in short, cleaning up rules establish a guilty by associations relationship for a file or a registry key to blocking detection immediately after the detection triggers on the endpoint. Okay, anti-exploit technology. We applied application handling mitigations, bolster applications against manipulations by arbitrary code controlled by adversaries. Okay, so here these mitigations offers the zero trust protection, that meaning even code operating inside Benign processes cannot perform the techniques the mitigations are designed to block. This limits the ability of authenticated attackers to abuse the operating system open-ended architecture. Okay? And adaptive and automated response. Here, take this example of a context sensible defenses. When you install the Sophos endpoint protections, your shifts are on and the user is protected and unrestricted while they perform their everyday activities. In an active attacker is detected on the device, the defense shifts must go up to highly restrict typical attacker behavior. So the device remains protection or protected, disrupted or disrupting the attacker, but not the end user. Okay, as you can see here, the behavioral protection individual device shifts on. Let's assume that the attacker is undeterred by the higher defense and continues attacking or attempting to evade or move laterally. Your defenses must rise to the point where there is no way in or out. So the device is isolated to reduce the risk to the organizations. This results in the disruption of both the attacker and the users. So your shift has blocked the attack, as you can see here. To this point, we have been or has just been taken about a single device. What happens if it occurs across multiple devices in your organizations with additional high impact indicators? It means your organization is under an attack. Here, critical attack warning. So that is when the red alert sounds for the organizations. It's all hands on deck to act to repel an attack. Okay, so the risk of doing nothing at this stage in extreme. So here we have the red alerts. We have the chips on, chips up when we have some devices isolated, and the red alert. Okay. So in regards of the adaptive attack protection, we're always striving for a new ways to protect customers. And one of the latest additions is what we call adaptive attack protection or AAP. Okay, AAP it's a step up in defense on a single Windows device. This use case is a sophisticated attacker who has gained initial access and is motivated to succeed. Here, the AAP aims to eliminate or dramatically decrease the attacker's change of achieving their final objective and give the defender times to eject the attacker from the network and the environment. Okay, so let us imagine a scenario. For example, the adversary has gained initial access to a device in your environment and is preparing to conduct the rest of the attack. Typically, time is on the side of the attackers. Every new step taken to evade existing defense helps them progress. They will keep pivoting to different techniques and methods. If nothing changed in the defense methodologies during the attack, there is an increasing probability the attacker will achieve their final objective. The defenders may not notice the security alerts happening during the active attack phase, or they may notice when it's too late to prevent irreparable damage. Here, the adaptive attack protections turn these concepts on its head and dramatically reduce the likelihood of the attack's success as it progresses. So the attacker may have gained initial access. However, the endpoint will notice their hands-on keyboard adversary, and at this point the context change. The gloves are off and we are in a fight. So the endpoint engages extra defenses with a chips up, as I mentioned you before, perspective to stop the attacker from processing and provide defenders valuable time to respond. So it includes blocking actions that aren't inherently malicious in an everyday context, but are dangerous in the context of the attack. So the AAP adds a new near um, impenetrable chef that decimates attacker change of um, success. After the context has returned to normal, the deployed asymmetric defense can also round to normal. Okay, so the AP device specific stopping an attacker on a single device does not mean the battle is over. The attacker may have gained access through other devices on a network or may still hold the keys to this one and repeat the attack. This is where the detection and response come in. Okay? The endpoint offers the tools to identify, um, investigate, and ultimately respond to an ongoing attack and offer to the customers that prevent some assistance with detection and response, like the MDR service that is 24 coverage by expertise security analysis. So our analysis can deal with the attacker on a single device, investigate whether other devices are affected, and determine how the attacker obtained network access and evict the attacker from the environment. Critical attack warning. Here we have different kinds of notifications. In the past, we only have one notification in the Sophos Central. Now, if do you have Sophos Intercept X mobile for mobile, you can connect it to the central. And if do you have an attack or a warning attack, you can have this alert like a notification in your cell phone. Okay, so you don't have or you don't need to go to your Sophos Central to know if you are in the middle of an attack or something like that, an alert. You will have a message on your cell phone. It's more easy. Then we have more information in the Sophos Central. Obviously, as in the past, we will have more information about this critical attack warning on the Sophos Central. And to resolve it, you will have XDR if you have a team of cybersecurity that can manage all the threat hunting tools. MDR team, if you need some help from the Sophos ethical experts attackers. And ER, that before this was a rapid response, now it's called incident response in regards that you are in the middle of an attack. Doesn't matter if you don't have Sophos protection. Remember that if you have another protection, you can also use or have ER, okay? Incident response to if you are in the middle of an attack, okay? Cybersecurity, synchronized cybersecurity. Remember that this is also one of the best features that we have in Sophos, that all the products can be synchronized, okay? Detection, investigation, and response. This is in regards of the Sophos XDR, okay? Here, remember how it works, okay? Prevention, detection, and response. All of these, the threat analysis and correlations, it's in the XDR, okay? Sophos XDR data lake collect all the telemetry, okay, all the data to understand how, what is um, the like the deployment of an attack, for example. Okay, so we collect all the telemetry of endpoint, firewalls, cloud, network, NDR, all that you do have from Sophos is collected in the data lake. Okay, here with the threat intelligence, with the automated response, with the advanced threat analysis, and all of this will work in regards of the best protection for you. Okay, in regards of NDR, as you can see here, all the investigation from the investigation, the detection, and the response, the approximately time of this from the MDR, it's 38 minutes. And for example, this is for the MDR team. But for example, if I wanted to do this work, for me, it will be like 1 week or 2 days to understand what is happening in my environment. So these are ethical hackers that works every day in this. Okay, so they has all the knowledge and all the experience to understand what is happening and how to resolve it. Okay, so that's why we have an approximated time of detection, investigation, and response of 38 minutes. Okay, the detections, there are more focus with a better context. As you know, in the threat analysis center, or when you can see a detection, an alert on you on your Sophos Central, you can have more investigations. As you can see here in the screen, there are a lot of informations to you understand what is happening and why this happened on your environment, and also a meter attack. That is important uh, tactic. Okay, if the attacker had it. So Sophos XDR product expansion. Okay, so here we have additional third-party integrations and optimized analysis experience. Here you can see more about it. Additional third-party integrations. There are different, like in endpoint, as you know, we have third-party integrations with Trend Micro, Trellix, Cisco, Orca, Octam, Microsoft. There are different third-party integrations with our products and with our XDR too. Okay. In regards of the Sophos firewall, let me see if there are any questions. Hey Nick, let me see. I'm seeing your message, your question. Yes, Nick is asking, where can I enable the notifications to my cell phone? Nick, do you need the Sophos mobile in your cell phone? Okay, installed, and then you can go to the Sophos Central, the endpoint protection, and there you can add the notification on your cell phone. Um, then I'm gonna send you all the steps in Sophos Central to get all the notifications on your phones. Okay, so we're gonna follow. Okay, in regards of the Sophos firewall version 20. Here in the version 20, we have different news protections. Okay, the threat, for example, threat or active threat response, remote employees protection and SASE, network scalability and resilience improvements, and automated management. For example, threat or active threat response, the extending synchronized security to MDR and XDR. So it provides the direct data streams for security analysis to share information about active active threats with the firewall so that the firewall can automatically respond to active threats without creating any firewall rules. Okay, for example, so um, in regards of the remote employee protection and SASE, here the CTNA gateway integrations makes the CTNA deployments even easier by integrating a CTNA gateway directly into the firewall. So it means that any organizations that needs to provide remote access to applications hosted within the firewall doesn't need to deploy a separate gateway on a virtual machine, but it can simply take advantage of the gateway built into their firewall. We can also have the network scalability and resilience improvements. Here there are a new VPN portal, so that provides a new contained hard-knitted self-service portal for end users to do load VPN clients and configurations. Auto provisioning and clients VPN flags. We also have SD-WAN scalability that triples the scalability of SD-WAN gateways to TD72 gateways and number of SD-WAN profiles to 1024. And the last one, optimized management. We have different here features. For example, the enabling and disabling interfaces. So it offers highly request feature to easily disable or enable network interface in the firewall without losing any settings. Okay. So what's new? As I mentioned you before, in this version, we will have automated threat response with active threat response, dynamic threat feeds, synchronized security telemetry, network scalability and resilience. Here, AP6, SD-WAN, site-to-site VPN, remote worker protection, the CTNA, gateway integrations, third-party as one integration also. Sophos DNS protection. That let me mention you a little bit about this part because it's really important. The DNS protection, our first solution, uh, you will be hearing about the latter this year is called DNS protection. And it's a quick, simple, and effective way to offer a great layer of protection for both remote users and on-premise users pool. So, actually, whenever someone requests a website in their browser or app, the browser has to look up the internet address of that website using a service called DNS. So we're going to offer our ounce of DNS lookup services that customers can use that will not only help identify the correct address, but also prevent anyone using it from accessing, okay, bad or malicious websites. So this all happens before the request even gets to the internet, to the malicious servers, as you can see here in the scripts. So important to know about DNS protection. The DNS protection, it's an early access program. So if you have right now extreme protection in your firewalls, you can apply to the early access program of the DNS protection and try it. Okay, this is not available for a standard protection right now, only for extreme protection. It's a new feature in the extreme protection. Okay, um, right now it's not sell as individual. Okay, for example, if do you want to buy a standard protection and additionally the DNS protection, this is not possible right now. Okay, just in the extreme protection in early access program, if do you have right now extreme protection on your firewalls, you can apply it to have the DNS protection and try it on your environment. Okay, so just to finish because it's too late. What's new in the Wi-Fi 6? We already have access point 6. This is really important because in the past we have only access point with Wi-Fi 5. Some people ask for Wi-Fi 6 and we already have it. Okay, we already have the AP6 series that includes 4 indoor models and 1 outdoor model. So the AP6 is the name of the series. Okay. Something important here that the second number shows the performance. So 2x2 or 4x4, and the E at the end of the model number indicates the model also supports. So that supports Wi-Fi 6E and so can be used in 6 gigabits, okay, bands where available. Okay, so here, so sorry, let me see. Okay, as I mentioned you, we have here 4 models, AP6, APCX, sorry, and APCX4 outdoor. Okay, if do you want to quote an AP6, please let us know. We can help you to understand, for example, if do you have an APX before, what is equivalent in AP6 right now? We can help you with that. Okay, so this is an important notice that we already have AP6. Please let us know if you want to see more about these products. Um, Now it's time to the questions and answers. Just Nick do a questions, but please remember um, what are news right now on Sophos products. The new Sophos Central. It's a new, not it's a new platform, but it's a new way to see all that we have in Sophos Central. And it's a little different. The threat account health check. The account health check. It's a graphical part to see all our cybersecurity posture. I really like it because it's so graphical, and with that I can know how is my posture in regards of my cybersecurity. DNS protection in regards of the firewall extreme protection. Okay, it's only available in extreme protection, and it is not sell like an individual tool. Okay. Um, for now, it's in early access program, so you can go to your firewall protection, extreme protection, and try the DNS protection if you want. Okay. Something important too. I didn't mention it, but we don't need my Sophos to migrate licenses or add new firewalls. All this we can do it from the Sophos Central. Okay. So when you go to the Sophos Central to the licensing, you will have the firewall licensing. So there you can do all the configuration. You don't need my Sophos anymore to do any kind of migration of license or something like that. Okay, all the management it's from the Sophos Central. Okay, and new the AP6. If you want to know more about each product, uh, the last firewall version and the AP6, please let me know at the end of this presentation. You can send us an email and we can help you. Okay, so if there aren't any questions, uh, just thank you for assisting these presentations. For us, it's really important that you can understand what is new in Sophos, and if you have some customers that needs an additional protection, what you can offer them. Okay, and now we have different integrations with other brands, so it's important that the customer can understand how is this integrations and how we as Sophos can help you to protect them, and you as partners can help them to protect their environment. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for your time and happy new year. Happy new Friday and have a good weekend. Okay, so thank you.